In this lesson, we're going to be talking about using Tor and different anonymizers. One of the reasons for using an anonymizer is if you're doing information gathering about a target and you don't want the target to know that you're doing it, something like a red team approach where you've been asked to quietly go in and assess a network so the operations folks don't know that you're coming. You may want to hide your activities as much as possible, and so you may want to use something like Tor or another anonymizer to be able to get information about the target without it being connected back to you. So let's talk initially about Tor. Tor is the onion router, and it's really a network of a lot of different people, and they use virtual tunnels in order to connect all of those people. And the idea behind Tor is to give you privacy and security. Tor protects against traffic analysis. So your activities can't be tracked on the internet because they don't actually trace back to you in any way. So we've got the onion router here, and you can see the Vidalia control panel, which is the piece that actually connects to the onion router network. And I can show you the network here. I can do a view the network, and you can see all of the different relays here on the left-hand side that are connected, and how long they've been up, their bandwidth that's available, the platform they're on, and the last updated. So there's a lot of information about the different relays that are being used. You can see at the bottom here, there's 1,704 relays online. I could set up relaying and become a relay myself, which would help the network grow. I can use a new identity. There's a message log and, of course, a bandwidth graph. And here's the Tor Browser, which is just like any other browser, except it's configured to run through the Tor network. And you can see my IP address appears to be 77.247.181.163, which is not my real IP address. So that's the IP that I appear to be getting from the Tor network. So I can go to a website now, and we're just going to go to infiniteskills.com, and you can see here that the browser works just like any other browser, and Infinite Skills is going to see the IP address that the onion router network provides me when my request exits that network in order to connect to Infinite Skills. This is sort of like a proxy in the sense that I'm not the one who's actually making the request when it hits the internet. I'm making a request to the onion router network via this web browser, and something on the other end of the onion router network is going to be sending that request on, and the response from Infinite Skills is going to be sent back to that relay, which would in turn come back to me and into this browser. So in that sense, it acts a bit like a proxy. And again, the idea is that you want to be anonymous and hide your tracks as much as possible. One of the anonymizers that you can find is this at Kotze.net, and Kotze is Church of the Swimming Elephant, and you'll find that a lot of these anonymizer services are pay for. What the folks at Kotze provide is private email service, SSH tunneling, and privacy proxies, much like the Onion Router network. They also do virtual private networking and professional web hosting. And as it says here, all of their services hide your IP address. Another anonymizer is this one at anonymizer.com. They have services for businesses as well as for home users. And you can see here that these are pay-for services as well. While you may be able to find a lot of different anonymizers, you probably want to be a little bit careful about the types that you connect to, simply because, like any other service on the internet, you may end up finding rogue anonymizers whose purpose is really to seed you with malware, which isn't to say you should stay away from them altogether. Just be careful that you know what you're using and that they're clean from malware or other rogue purposes. So that's the Onion Router and Anonymizer services.